Blog Talk Radio.
All right, everybody. So let's get the podcast. No. I did not. I did not. No, I not win. Not win. I dropped out of. Uh, yeah, but they listen. They didn't get elected though, so that's overtime. And I was actually nominated for that. A backup. The electoral college, it's down there. But I was nominated. So, of course, the other electors. I mean, I don't know. You probably elected. I don't know. I'll tell you what, you can go out and look. I'll tell you what, wow. At a prison bar. But you know what? The criminal, it serves like the rest of the criminal health. Okay? Because she was robbing your first okay. So what? And now she's like, what's your thoughts on the election? Doing all right. How you doing? Yeah, you got the executive order. 24. Yeah. I mean, no, I guess. Did it happen? Think, what do you think? I don't know. That said between 20, right? And how did you go? You did. But how did you go? So, I said that I believe it will happen. I mean, what? I mean, are you trying to say that I was like fear monitoring? And I was just reading an intel report from a confidential source. That's all I was doing. I mean, but have you taken any provisions or preparation? Right time? Are you prepared already? Yeah, it's got water. Oh, yeah, really? But just move water and gun. That's all you need. And what about me? Electricity and like that. I mean, how you doing? I mean, that's solar. Oh, wow. Solar power. That's your fault. How you getting water on the ground? Oh, California. Oh, California. Oh, God. That was clean. That's not your turn. Man, those liberals out there. I don't know nothing about California. I know it's got a scumbag governor out there. I mean, I feel bad for you, though. Brother, I mean, anything else you want to say real quick? One down the line here? All right, yeah. All right, I'll bring it back on later. Mark, I got Mark Johnson, the common man, president, at what's affiliated party. Am I correct, Mark? That's on my podcast. That's right. You were doing it all yourself. That's right. That's all yourself. No donation. That's it. Yeah. Can't beat that, man. Yeah. And of course, they didn't. Well, I mean, okay. All right. Well, that's a good point. I didn't hear anything about that. I didn't hear anything about. I know they've already had their their process already there. But I didn't know about it. Chinese agents, they, with all due respect, they're very methodical. They take their time, plan well, and then you can't deny it. It's not. We never learned our life. Not really worker. They they'll wait it out. And that's what they'll get grabbed. That's how they are. But they're doing it methodical, very methodical. But they just, yeah. Well, how they do. They got that hard tower stuff, that hard position up there. Where's that at? And stuff like that. Well, they got those kind of weapons. I don't know anything about it. Really, I first of all, yeah, I don't know much about it. Yeah, I'm sure they got them. Yeah, I agree. I got to agree with that. You can't win another. They can't win two more. Hang on, Mark. Mark. No, go ahead, Jim. Sorry. Oh, Adam, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I got another guy that's getting. That's fine. Go ahead. Mitch McConnell actually is white tonight. Now, why is all this tonight? They're all married tonight. Start having a marriage tonight. Stuff like this. Why is all this coming out now? Why? Makes no sense. Only makes sense to the fact that they're alerting us to what? And that's just, it's kind of like the globalists. Their agenda is they have to tell you what the I don't know how to religion or God or faith of it. But as far as like it, okay. All right. Well, I'm just saying that. But they believe. I don't have a problem. Hey, listen, man. I will study anything. That I'm open. Yeah, like I said, I don't know too much about it. I want to know my. You're out now. I want to see something about. I'll look. And for those of you out there that are sending next try out emailing me, yeah, well, right. And automatically, just because someone wants to route point or study your right there, automatically, that's wrong to be shut down and censored and banned or arrested, only from the highest street, right? That's when the list cards out there for most conservatives are to talk about being proud and white, And that's the thing that I can't. That's why I'm doing it. And that's why I'm bringing a lot of others over to this platform because there's nothing wrong with white people being proud to be white or promoting their white heritage. And I'm right. All right. There you go. Go ahead, Adam. I'm sorry. Around the world or even America. It's working. The communist, it does work. Right. Inward act. It does work. But not going to survive. Not work. But I mean, what's your opinion on though? For conservatives, what a lot of them, what's their pushing on that? 501 ways. There's two ways. So how do you reverse that paradigm way of thinking? A lot of these historical roots that in America now where the national social is the home in America here, and America that we want to see the national social man, not a boy. That's all. No, I hear you. I'm just saying, like, man, I'm trying to have a little fun. No, it's just nothing.
Spiritual powers.
Mr. Adam, that's what
Yeah.
the Pharisees called Jesus, was a sorcerer, okay?
Well, like a wizard.
So you're talking like a Jew. Hey, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just telling you, man, you're talking like those Pharisees back in those days. They called him a sorcerer. That's why they hung him on the cross.
What's wrong with being a magician?
Yeah, well, the thing of it is the Bible is very clear on that he was not a sorcerer or magician. That he was the Son of God. And manifested God manifested himself as the Trinity. The Godhead. See, God manifested himself as the flesh, See, it's hard to explain the Trinity or the Godhead really. So Godhead is mentioned 3 times in the Bible. But he wasn't a sorcerer or a wizard. But I mean, what do you think? I mean, Adam, he pointed a biblical verse to you. I mean, can you give anything to expound on that?
Well, I guess what I would say is, according to Ben Klassen, the Jews actually wrote that Catholic Bible. That was tailor-made by the Jews in order to try to deceive the white man.
No, sir. That's propaganda, man. You've got to see through the difference. That's propaganda. I promise you. I'm 45 years old, man. I'm retired from the Army. I have done my research. I did 3 tours in Iraq. I did a tour in Key West with Commander Colucci of the NSM. I'm telling you, man, you're being misled. You've got to. No, I understand looking at other stuff here and there. I do too. But you're being misled. If Jesus Christ was a sorcerer and all these things, why would they try to destroy Christianity?
Yeah.
Because it was taking money away from the banks. That's why they tried to destroy Christianity.
Why are they trying to destroy Donald Trump?
That's kind of partly them Marxists. See, now the thing is, I'm not like an anti-Christian. I just see that in more of a pagan's kind of way. Like, I look at that Christian religion kind of like through the eyes of a pagan man, where I envision Jesus Christ as like a pagan that believed in nature.
Yeah, I know. I got a friend that pretty much on the same thing, that he was a warrior and he defied the Jewish rule, and they killed him. I mean, I get that, but it's just, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. But that was 2,000 years ago.
The way that they killed Jesus Christ is pretty much the same way that they would have said, fucking burn the witch at the stake. Burn her at the stake. Hang him on the cross. That's what I see. That's how I see that.
I'm not against burning witches, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and listen, I got
a
bunch of other people here on the board. I'll leave you guys on as long as we could have the civil conversation with each other. We're doing pretty good there, as long as we're not arguing over each other. I can hear you fine.
I'm not upset about what I just think he's misinformed. That's all. I'm just trying to get there with him.
Joe, I'd like to put a word in real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
To that second caller that was talking about the laser beams and the Chinese being uncivilized as far as their weaponry, man, you are so far off the beam. America is so guilty of dropping bombs, napalm, Agent Orange, paraquat, syphilis, typhoid fever, and everything else on its own population. And you mean a little laser beam against a plane is barbaric? How in the world did you come up with that?
All right.
He's not saying. He's not wrong about that. He's not wrong about that. He is wrong about the syphilis part, though. The syphilis part, he's talking about the Tuskegee Airmen. What they did.
That too.
What they did, they selected black soldiers that had either been drafted or volunteered to come in. They were already infected with syphilis. And then they put them into a program to experiment on, I guess, syphilis vaccinations and whatnot. They didn't inject syphilis into the black guys just right off the top. No,
they did it to whole states. They did it to entire states, especially in Missouri. Not just the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you disagree on that, Mark. I mean, I would say we could go back and forth on that. Guys, just if you can, please just hold that thought. I'm going to go to 601 here. I think they want to ask somebody a question here. Oh no, 865 first and 601.
Mississippi.
865. Go ahead.
Hello, this is Corporal Bigfoot from NSM. How are you doing?
I knew it.
How you doing?
I knew it was you. I knew it was Bigfoot. I knew it.
Welcome to NSM Media. You're doing a great job. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
I love the openness.
Well, I'm Christian Identity. When he was talking about 2:9 and 3:9 in the Bible, that's Revelations 2:9 and 3:9. That says that the Jews are the synagogue of Satan. And if the other guy thinks that the Jews wrote the Bible, they didn't. If they did, they would have written Jesus Christ right out of it. That was 66 books. It started out about 200 different books. And some of them were repetitive. Some of them were proven to be false books. So they whittled it down to 66. And there's parts of it, I know one part of it called the Apocrypha that the Catholic Church just omitted it, and I think that was about 400 years of history. But basically, your Bible is a history book.
Well, that's
for the
Maccabees.
Yeah.
The 400 years is the Maccabees.
Okay, I thought that was the Apocrypha. Now, I've got a good book here I just got in the mail called Your Heritage, and it's from Bertrand Comparet, who was one of the greatest preachers, I think, that ever walked the earth. This is a man that was an FBI prosecutor, okay? He was a federal prosecutor, and he goes through the scriptures and he lays it out just like it's court evidence. And he does all sorts of good lectures. Unfortunately, he has passed away, but Kingdom Identity Ministries has taken over his ministry and the one from Wesley Swift, who was a great preacher in the late 50s and the early 60s.
Have you ever heard of Dr. Peter Ruckman? Dr. Peter Ruckman?
No.
No, okay. He was a preacher back in the 50s and 60s. Actually, the Vatican Knights actually stabbed him. He was out, so they attacked him. He was Pensacola, Florida. He was down there in that area. But, yeah, that's something I'll look into. I'm writing it down now, the information you're giving.
Yeah, I just covered about half of this book. It's only about 60 pages. He goes through and he makes the case about whether Jesus was a Jew or not, and flat out lays out everything that he was not a Jew by race and he was not a Jew by religion. And by race, that also means your DNA heritage. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good. I want to read that. Actually, I want to read that.
Yeah. If you take a look, they have a poster for the history of the Anglo-Saxon race. You can trace his bloodline back to the line of Heber, Hebre, which that is the root word for Hebrew. Jesus was a Hebrew, not a Jew. And if he was a Jew, he wouldn't have had, him and the apostles would not have had so many problems traveling, because there's scriptures in there that say they were afraid to go here for fear of the Jew, afraid to go there for fear of the Jew, because
that's true.
apparently
that's true. Wow. Yeah, I never looked at it like that.
He's 100% right. And I have that book. I have not read it yet, though, Bigfoot.
Yeah, I
have not read it yet,
and,
but I have it.
Oh, I forgot the name. I think Saul and Judas were actually Jews. One of them, I think Peter was Roman by birth. By his birthright, he was a Roman citizen.
Yeah,
so he had privileges. Yeah, he had privileges of saying, "Hey, I'm a Roman, just like you soldiers."
Don't
so
beat
he
me.
had privileges, to travel.
Yeah, but anybody could be a Roman.
Yeah, well, that was you had the Roman citizens, and then you had the slaves, and then you had conquered people and everything. But the big thing is it's like they say, the Jews are Esau, Edomite, Canaanites, and Ashkenazi Khazar. They are not Jacob Israel.
That's right. That's right.
Jacob
That's
Israel.
right, because you think about, hey, Bigfoot, you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on, brother. Go ahead.
Okay, Jacob Israel never gave his blessing to Judah, his second son, Judah. He gave his blessings to...
Or no, Judah was the son. Judah was
No, he gave his blessings to Joseph's sons.
Well, what was it? Jacob had twin sons, or had two sons.
Esau.
Pharez and Zerah. Judah did.
Ishmael and
I just read that. Yeah,
Isaac.
There's another. But that was
Isaac.
Esau.
But see,
Isaac and
he gave his blessing to Joseph's sons when he met with Joseph in Egypt after Joseph was enslaved by Judah and Reuben.
Yeah. Well, they also
I'd like to interject here if I
got
may.
601 that's been waiting a while here. 601. Okay. Everybody just stay on there if you want to, because I want to give everyone.
Okay.
I see everyone that when you put your hand up, I don't like to make people wait too long. And you see, I don't hang up on you as long as you're polite, and respectful. Go ahead, 601. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
How you doing? I was just wanted to jump in this religious conversation here. I myself was raised Southern Baptist, but became an agnostic. Now, me wanting to be agnostic is not an attempt to play middle of the road. That's just my own personal choice. But first and foremost, I am a white nationalist, and as a white nationalist, I ask myself, well, what religion is more beneficial to my cause? I do see the value in religion. And being agnostic, I guess it allows me to be a little bit more flexible in that area. I don't expect other people to be agnostic or anything else. But when it comes to Christianity or paganism, I do see that paganism is a little bit more beneficial to us. There's a story that's coming out in the Washington Post. I don't know if you've heard about it or not, but let me just read you the title of it. Facing a First Amendment fight, a small Minnesota town allows a white supremacist church. The City Council of Murdoch, Minnesota, voted on December 9th to grant a permit that allows the Asatru Folk Assembly, which has been identified as a white supremacist group, to gather at an abandoned church it bought. And they're freaking out about this because they had the First Amendment right to do this, and they don't know what to do about it. In a statement following the vote, they defended the council as only wanting what's best for the city. We voted not by emotion. I went straight off the findings of the facts of the First Amendment. They were afraid that if they denied them the right to purchase the church, they would face a devastating religious lawsuit, and that's what would have happened. But pay attention to that story. I suspect there's going to be some conflict in Minnesota pretty soon.
I did hear about that story, actually. I did see that across my Facebook feed, too, and I shared it, actually. So I did hear about that story. I haven't paid too much attention to it lately, but I've heard about that a couple months ago, actually, when it first came out. So, that's something.
They just voted on December 9th to verify that they had the right to do that.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, they do have the right. I mean, you have the First Amendment right. I mean, what's like we talk about? I was just saying earlier. If you talk about, they're white supremacists. What is a white supremacist? What is that? What is that?
Does anybody know?
Well, according, it could mean anything today, right?
Can I tell you what they mean by white supremacy?
Sure.
They mean Western Christian civilization.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
a white
they
person
mean.
existing. A white person existing is white supremacist.
Exactly. That's
and we've
what
got a
they
black
mean
man.
by
We've got
that.
a black guy on the phone right now, Mark Johnson, who says, "Hey, he's for like, look, man, you're white and proud." He supports that. Now I don't know if he goes back to his black brothers and says, "Hey, behind his back, or whatever. Screw those white people. What do you call it, crackers?"
Hey, you know what? He needs to learn who Marcus Garvey was.
Yep. Well,
I know who Marcus Garvey is. I'm a lot older than you.
Yeah.
You're older than
you have
me?
to ask.
Yeah, he does. He's an older black individual. Yes, he's older. Yeah, he's.
Well,
how old are you, Mark?
Okay.
You don't want to say. I don't find,
62.
Well, apparently he is because he's not in prison, so he got some sense.
I just got out of prison.
But
Just got out. That happens under these.
When you
All right, go ahead.
no,
Let's give Mark a minute, please. Come on, let's give it. Come on, man. Mark, go ahead, Mark. Because I can't. Let's not. Give him a minute, please. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I would like to address a lot of the things that the people on the panel are saying, but I don't wish to offend anybody with my particular views because what I think individually really doesn't amount to a hill of beans when it all comes down to the rationalization that either we're all going to learn to get along or we're going to destroy each other. That's the bottom line, folks.
Bert actually brought that onto my platform. We had Sarah call in. She was a female from Minnesota. She said, "Why can't we all just get along?" Well, how well has that been working out? Let's all get along. You know what I mean?
Also with the concept of the biblical characters back in the day, they had many wives. Esau had many wives. He had Sarah. He had handmaidens. And he had foot maidens, and he had all of this and all of that. Like some of these people that are in the Bible had 8, 10 different wives at a time. Am I correct?
800.
Yeah. So what was the choice what was the possibility that he liked a little bit of spice in his life and all of his children weren't Anglo-Saxon? You got to think about that.
Therein lies the problem, right? Therein lies the problem. You see, Christianity has an issue with it being multicultural in a lot of aspects, and a lot of different cultures lay claim to Christianity, not just European people, but also Africans, Muslims, Jews. That's an issue, and that's why I believe, I see ethno-paganism as a far more beneficial tool for us instead of Christianity.
Well, we're already into paganism with the worshiping of Groundhog's Day, Christmas, etc. So paganism is real and prevalent throughout the United States. Halloween, etc. New Year's. New Year's, Chinese thing, just celebrated on the wrong damn day.
Yeah.
The first
hey,
year
listen,
was
callers that are waiting in the queue, callers that are waiting, listen, I will get to you. You just got to be patient. You don't have to hang up, call back in, press 1. I will get to you, I promise. And I don't hang up on nobody.
Go ahead. I can see my time. Go ahead.
What's the black guy's name again?
It's Mark Johnson.
Oh, Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Can I ask you a direct question?
Certainly.
Okay, what does Zimbabwe, Uganda, Nigeria, South Africa, Rhodesia, and Detroit and South Chicago have in common?
Black people, a whole bunch of police that are really screwing things up, and a lack of food and resources.
How do
all
they get
the
like
jobs
that?
went to Mexico, even from Zimbabwe and everywhere else.
White people
currently have
black jobs.
What about Port-au-Prince, Haiti?
Them to become something better in the world.
Port-au-Prince, Haiti, they got black people over there that don't like Jamaicans. Jamaicans don't like the people from the Bahamas. The Bohemians don't like the people from Haiti. And it goes on and on and on. And there's even cultural division between black people.
So doesn't that speak wonders, though, for this let's all get along crap? Because even within their own culture of the black people, you're not getting along with each other. So why bring that crap? Why is the Jew promoting that so much between the blacks and whites that we got to intermingle, mix with each other, and destroy ourselves?
I can tell you that. I can tell you that.
Go ahead.
They want one race, one language, one culture, one religion, so they can have a one world government. So they can usher in their
one race, one religion.
And listen, I got a couple other callers. I'll get to you. 312, you're next, and then 541. I think I already had you on, so I'll unmute you. I think you got disconnected. But let's get to 312. Go ahead. You've been waiting a long time. I know you called back in. 312, go ahead.
How you doing right there? This is Colonel Sasquatch. I'm calling in from the TSM, and just calling up to say hoorah to all you guys. Also, I was in Iraq, and I served 4 tour duties, and I also did one that came out of Afghanistan. But I'm here to say that Jesus Christ was a Muslim. Did you know that? He was a Muslim.
Exactly. See, that's the point. Everybody can kind of lay claim to Jesus. That's the issue with white identitarians trying to use Christianity.
What's the Bible say?
Doesn't
Deuteronomy say, I will rise, in Deuteronomy 18:18 it says, I will rise him up a prophet amongst his brethren. So who was Deuteronomy 2? It was who was that book written to and for at that time? Obviously, what was Moses? Moses was a Jew, wasn't he? I mean, so obviously that, Deuteronomy was written during Moses' era. So I will raise him up a prophet amongst his brethren. So who's God talking about? Is it the whites? Is it the Jew? Is it the Muslims? I mean, it can't be everybody. So that's got to be one or the other. So who has biblical? If the Bible doesn't prove itself to be true, then I say put your God in a paper bag. He can't get out. Because you got to rightly divide the word. And Scripture is for what? It's not for private interpretation. It's for how do you verify Scripture? Historically, doctrinally, and inspirationally, right? Those are the 3 applications of any type of Scripture that you, if you're a theology professor or student or whatever. So how do you apply Scripture? You got to apply it and rightly divide it. So can anybody explain that? What's that mean? I'll rise him up a prophet amongst his brethren. Obviously, he wasn't talking to the Muslims at that time. He wasn't talking about Muhammad or anybody else. Who was he talking to?
There was no Islam back then.
That's right.
Not in the biblical days. Hell, Islam didn't come around until, 1400s? Or I'm sorry.
Later than that, actually. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. But that Prophet Muhammad and all that, yeah, that's all disproven. I've debated with Muslims many times and just put them to shame. They just
I will say about the Muslims? They've never, ever, ever said a bad thing about Jesus. They will not do that. But the Jews, on the other hand, look at Sarah Silverman. What she said about Jesus. I hope the Jews did kill Jesus. I'd kill him today.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? I mean, does it not correlate with you guys? Okay, you want to be pagan or whatnot, but if Jesus is not real and he never existed, why such the effort to destroy Christianity? Why? That's my question.
Well, everything's documented. Historically, everything's documented. They kept well-documented archives back then. You have an empty tomb that Jesus was real, he rose again, and whatnot. But what race was Jesus? Well, if obviously God created everybody here on earth, right? So what was God's purpose?
I would say God is a racist. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because, apparently he made the races different, right?
True.
He saw
that's exactly right.
He put us on different continents.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Natural segregation.
Wrong. No.
I don't know about that one, but they did. What happened when they built the Tower of Babel? What happened? And they all began to speak as one, right? And what did God say? Look what they've done, and they're speaking as one, and they're going to be like gods, and scattered everybody abroad. That's what happened. That's when they all were scattered abroad.
Yeah, no, I get that. I can, you know what? I can most certainly agree with you on that. That's where the races and languages split. I can't disagree with you on that. But obviously, it's the will of the Almighty that we do not come together as one race, one religion, one, culture. It's obvious because, if you go back to the Bible, if you believe in the Bible, he destroyed that to keep it from happening. And now you got a certain group of people that are called Jews, but they are not. They are the synagogue of Satan.
Maybe they're the fallen angels. Maybe they're the angels that were cast out of heaven, and they're the demons, the demonic that are controlled by Satan. Because the Bible does say that they're the synagogue of Satan, right? So what's the synagogue of Satan? These fallen angels, these demons that were cast out of heaven. Because why were they cast out of heaven? Because they tried to gather all up together to what? Overthrow God, right? And what are we trying to do here on earth? We're all trying to come together as one, right? So
there's a difference between a demon and a fallen angel, though. A demon is a disembodied spirit that was killed during the flood. Fallen angels, man, are you tracking with me? I don't mean.
I get what you're saying. I don't want to get too much into the metaphors of that. I was just trying to make a parallel there with Satan, like you brought up.
I thought that's what you were doing. Yeah. Because so many people that call themselves Christians, they totally dismiss the book of Enoch. And I think it's got a lot to say.
But you see, like the other caller was saying, all the books were verified and reproven to reproof themselves. What did I tell you earlier? There's 3 applications to proven Scripture. What? Historically, doctrinally, and inspirationally. Okay, so that's self-evident right there to how you apply the books. Now, what did God say in the book of Psalms? He'll purify His word 7 times, right? There's 7 translations of the Bible, right? If you go by, what is it, Hebrew, Latin, Greek, Tyndale, Coverdale, Greek, Latin, and then in English. So, there's 7 translations. The 7th and final translation is English. English is the predominant language around the world today, right? So everyone has to speak English to do business or commerce somewhere around the world. So it's the predominant.
You ain't flying in no airport without English.
That's right. So it's the 7th and final translation. 7 is the number of completion in the Bible. 3 is creation. 7 is completion. So 7 was the 7th translation, King James. What's that?
What is the number 6?
Well,
what happened on the 6th day? According to the Bible.
I don't want to go into each number. I don't think each number is verified in the Bible. It's not a numbers game.
I'm not going into gematria here, that Jewish gematria. I'm not going to do that. But 6.
Well, do you believe? So you're telling me that the Bible itself, the King James Bible itself, is not the true Word of God. It's not the 7th translation. How can you disprove it? How can you disprove it? Because I can prove it through 4,000 prophecies that were fulfilled. The words, the one comma separates 2,000 years in the Bible. So can you disprove it for me?
I can't disprove. Pretty much. I can't disprove it. No, sir, I cannot. But what I'm saying is, always keep the open mind about things. I don't believe not one man put his hands on the stone that built the pyramid.
All right, that's fine. But like I said, we got to know what is the true Word of God. You don't think God God cannot preserve His Word for all of us to see and find easily if we wanted to? How easy is it to get a King James Bible today?
The Bible does say my people perish for lack of knowledge.
Yes,
and it's
correct.
Not because they don't read the Bible. It's because that you got John Hagee out here telling them to worship the Jews.
Yeah,
and the black population is the most infected individual. If you go and look at Leonard Patterson and listen to what he has to say about how the Jews, the communists, infiltrated the black churches in the 1920s. And that's where they started. And they cherry-picked this guy called Michael King later be known as Martin Luther King, that was trained at the Highlander Folk School, which churned out a bunch of communist agitators, but they didn't call them that. They call them community organizers.
But you said you believe you're more or less for the paganism, right? The way of believing. Now, if you go to like Revelation 2:1-8, Deuteronomy 18:9, Isaiah 8:19, and when they shall say unto you, seek unto them, that they have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that they peep and that mutter, should not a people seek unto their God, for the living to the dead. That's Isaiah. You know, and you go to Hebrews 10:26-31, James 4:12. I mean, Matthew 25:46. So the paganism idea right there, the King James Bible destroys. Verse by verse, you know, whatever you throw at me as far as paganism.
Well, also too, look at Hosea 1:9. What does it say in Hosea 1:9 about the Jews? What does it say?
Oh, I wasn't talking about the Jews here. I wasn't talking about the Jews. I was just talking about the paganism. You were talking about paganism itself, right? What is paganism? Can you define what is paganism in your world today? Is what you're what you were talking about, that you feel more comfortable believing instead of believing in the Baptist or the fundamental Christianity that America withholds as its foundation here, that we stand on and believe on here in America today. Without the Jew, I agree with you about the Jews infiltrating and the evil Jew. I get all that, man, and I support you on that. But the pagan thing, you know, I just want to hear what you got to say about that.
You know, the thing about it is, there's so much disinformation out there. How can you believe one thing over the other? Because you have to write. What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't understand. So you're telling me that you can't believe the Bible?
What I want to know is, what are we going to do to stop killing each other worldwide? What are we going to do to stop killing each other worldwide?
Well, that's never going to stop. You know.
I paganism in the living room and watch Remember the Titans again.
Yeah, well, you know, the Roman Empire practiced that paganism, polytheism type of stuff too. You know, and they were not the Christian popular belief. The text from the name of the group were Helen, Gentile, and the heathen. The ritual sacrifice. That's where paganism's foundations come from. So, you know, it's idolatry. It's practice in idolatry.
Mr. Johnson acting out, is he chipping out and whipping on his...
I'm going to kill him right now. Here's the phone. Hurry up. Here,
no.
Don't. Here, sir.
I didn't hear what he had to
with
say.
all that background noise.
I know. Who's got the background noise there?
Folks.
Somebody's yelling.
Is that Mr. Johnson, that black dude, he's whooping on his bitch?
No, that's not him. No, that's not him. Somebody's yelling in the background there. Somebody dropped there, but... that wasn't Mark Johnson with the background noise, but let me see. I got him right.
Okay.
But go ahead. Anyway, I was just having a conversation about the paganism, and all of a sudden everybody went nuts there. So I don't know what happened, but maybe everybody didn't take a deep breath. I don't know.
No, we didn't go nuts with it. You just kind of went on the tangent, but that's okay though, because I mean you gave me some information, and I'm gonna look into it and whatnot. So
I've got some other callers here that want to join us too. My call board's going crazy, by the way. I don't know if so. Let's go 601. Did I already have you on here? I got two 601, so let me connect both of you. 601 748. Go ahead. You go first. Go ahead.
Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi. All right.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, the main goal of the left is to fracture and destabilize the white family. And when it comes to Christianity or paganism, back to that conversation again. Paganism, ethno-paganism, which is what the Asatru is, specifically focuses on binding or creating a bond, recreating the bond of the white greater family, and that's why that's why they're really afraid of it.
Okay,
that's it. He's right. He's right.
Okay. So you're saying so what is pagan? So what is the origin of paganism? See, I have to know. See, you have to understand. You have to search for the truth of yesterday to understand today. When you understand today, then you could look forward and plan for tomorrow. So that's what I always like to do. That's how I apply history.
Paganism is the ethnic religion. It derives from Europe. Paganism can mean a bunch of different religions. Paganism just means non-monotheistic, non-singular God. But European paganism, heathenry, Slavic, Oh, it's the European ethno-religions. That's what I'm referring to when I say pagan.
All this stuff. And you'll be able to tell these guys, as a civilized white man, well, this is what this is.
Well, let me ask you this: it was a label that Christians applied to others, right? In the early Christian church, right? The notion of paganism. Okay, so you agree with that, right? But the origin and application of the term pagan to polytheism is debated. That was debated, and that went into the 19th century. Paganism was adopted as a self-descriptor of its members of various, I guess you could say, artistic groups inspired by the ancient world, I guess, right? This ancient world of paganism that everyone's so fascinated with. So what, because everyone gets the word pagan confused. That's the only reason why I wanted to know what your foundations of belief were. That's all. Okay. I was just telling you what I was, from notes that I pull up and look or I have, because I'm a theology student, actually. So I just wanted to know and learn. That's all. I wasn't trying to put nobody down.
Yeah, the benefit, and it could be argued that the benefit of an ethno-religion, if there's ever a debate about it, how it's beneficial is because it's an ethno-religion, because it's an exclusive religion, it's also a confined religion. Its desire isn't to spread and orphan people from their cultures and their languages, but to cultivate a specific culture of people. And that's how it contrasts with universal religions like Christianity and Islam.
Okay, so eclectic paganism, pantheon-based paganism, Druidry, I think that's how you pronounce it, Wicca, that you brought up earlier. So that has nothing to do with what you're talking about, correct?
I'm not referring to Wicca. Wicca is a multicultural version of paganism. It was created in the 1940s. It is not an ancient religion. It was created, what's that guy's name, Cromwell, something like that? That's who created Wicca. That's something that was made, I think, in America in the 20th century. That's got nothing to do with ethno-paganism. Crowley, yeah.
So the alternate term to Christian...
Aleister Crowley.
Okay, Crowley.
He's right about that.
Yep, yeah, he is. And, the Hellen and Gentile and heathen, the ritual sacrifice, it was an integral part of the
what Aleister Crowley also said?
Go ahead.
What's that?
That killing young boys and drinking their blood immediately while the adrenochrome is flowing through them, giving him power.
Yep. And we know adrenochrome, right? That's the number one commodity on Wall Street today, right? What's it going for?
It is.
$35,000. $35,000 for a liter of it.
Holy shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So these so we have to be careful we don't adopt ourselves into this global elite crowd that will adopt themselves. You got to remember, these wicked people out there will twist your mind and make you assimilate into their crowd.
You know what?
When I think of Wicca, I see some grown-up people with wands playing Harry Potter. That's what I see whenever I think of Wicca. But
well, true, I do too. Actually, I get that from the picture.
That's funny right there. Yeah.
The ancient, but hang on, the ancient religious outlook, remains active throughout much of the world today. So therefore, the complex civilizations that you're talking about from years past and prior. That is very important. Is that really what God, the Creator? Because anyone can stand back. When you're walking down the sidewalk and you see a watch on the ground, and you pick it up. You don't say that was just there. It just didn't come out of nowhere. Yeah. Someone built that. Yeah. It was built by an intelligent designer, right? So it's like look at Earth, look at the universe. Obviously, there's some kind of creator out there that created this. We didn't come from a monkey. We didn't come from a fish. We didn't roll up on a seashore and start evolving year after year after year after year. Because that evolution crap is that I don't buy that. I just don't buy it. But I'm just saying there has to be an intelligent designer in the universe, and who is that God? What God?
You said you're a theologist. You're a theology student, right?
I'm a student. Yes.
Yes, sir. So you've probably studied Buddhism and Hinduism as well.
Yeah, yep. I'm actually doing 2 courses on that right now, but I'll tell you what, that's a confusing, freaking mystical bunch of nonsense, if you believe it. Go ahead, ask the question.
Well, each culture, when it comes to these religions, they pretty much just have a different interpretation of what they see as natural things that happen in the universe. Like Buddhism has yin and yang. Light and dark, or as the Christians would say, God and the devil, good and evil. But to say that one is greater than the other, huh?
But again, there's one thing that I have that could beat everybody out is that fact that you have what? You have the deity of God. You have the Godhead, the Trinity of God. You have to understand the Trinity. You have to understand that God manifested himself in the flesh to walk amongst us. Why? Why did he do that? Now, he wasn't a Jew. Okay, I get that. All right, that's fine. He wasn't black either. He wasn't Ethiopian, because I've had debates with them, too, over that crap. But listen, he walked amongst us. Why? Because he wanted to feel and suffer. Why? Because man could never do through his free will what he expected us to do through his creation. He created us, right? We can all agree on that. So you're telling me that we could be so perfect, we could be like gods? I mean, so what's the purpose of our creation then? To do what? There's got to be a creator out there. Who's the creator? I mean, see, that's the argument that we're getting. We got into that from freaking the Chinese invading America. So I don't know how to, it's always interesting how it always reverts back to God. Every conversation I have when I start talking about the New World Order, it always comes back to God, always. Whether we agree or disagree.
I will say this. Jesus said, send my disciples. He sent his disciples to the lost tribes of Israel. Where did they go? They went to Greece and Italy. They went to Europe. Europa.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. That's true.
About that for a moment.
That's true. You're absolutely correct. I mean, but what's Egypt? What is Egypt? Because everything comes out of Egypt. I read that book Out of Egypt by Charles Chris Meyer, and I don't buy that either. Where that Jesus had to come out of Egypt, and that he was, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of fallacies, but what the King James Bible is the only book that's not published. You know that? It's the only book in the entire world that's not published. It doesn't have a copyright.
Watch with the Bibles though. Look for the Schofield Reference Bible. That's the ones you need to avoid.
The Schofield you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
You ever heard of Alan Watts?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of Baptist preachers out there I've debated with on that, man. Let me tell you. So I got to kind of agree with you on that one. Because when they start, someone brought up an interesting point in the beginning. If Jesus wasn't Jesus and he wasn't God, why if Jesus was a lie, it was the greatest lie ever told on earth. And more people have tried to disprove that lie than any other lie in the time of history. So therefore, something must make of it. I mean, there has to be something to it, right?
I think it's
come on, man.
I think it's
look at how they attacked Hitler, right? I mean, right? Obviously they attacked him for what reason?
Thank you very much. Who's the most hated man in public eye? Hitler, right?
That's correct.
I think it's to do with the. I think it's to do with the desire to rid morality from a society, so people that want to do bad things can't be judged. That being one, and two, people want to feel like they're smarter than the average person that believes in a religion, so they try to put themselves on a pedestal by calling religious ignorant.
I'm going to ask you guys something. Have you ever heard of Sabbatean Frankist?
The what?
Sabbatean Frankist.
Yeah,
you might want to look that up. You might want to look it up.
If you don't mind, because we have time here. I'm not going to do the whole entire hours here of the show, but just go ahead and if you want to explain it, go ahead.
Sabbatean Frankist was I can't remember the son bitch's name. He was a Jew, just like Adam Weishaupt, that created the Order of the Illuminati on May 1st of 1776. This guy, he created Sabbatean Frankist out of the Talmud, and he did that in 1666. Hell of a number, huh? How about
Let me ask you this question, right? My main focal point is to this podcast, and that what Bert and I talked about, is to try to wake people up. Bring people together to wake them up. Whether or not you want to kill them or kill this one or kill that one, I don't care. The point of it is that we're trying to wake people up, because the thing of it, we have to. You've got people out there that are zombies. They're zombies, man. Even the white people, they're so stupid and dumbed down and pathetic. It's disgusting. They got to wake up, rise up, and start educating themselves. All right, and you can't get nowhere in any type of organization or group or belief or political value or government if you're not freaking have some type of articulation or educated in some type of way. I mean, that's just the way it is. So that's the purpose of this show, is to try to wake people up and think. I was going to start calling people tonight and asking if they accept Federal Reserve notes if I didn't get callers like you guys calling in, because I'll make something out of the show. I don't care. I'll make it from nothing into something. And that's the name of the game, and that's what I'm trying to do. So, whether or not we disagree, that's good.
Have you ever looked into Alan Watts?
Randy Weaver and the Branch Davidians.
The Branch Davidians? Well,
Do you not recall what they called him, David Koresh? They called him a white separatist, like they did with Randy Weaver.
Randy, let me tell you something about Randy Weaver, okay? I knew Randy Weaver, okay, and I knew his family, okay, and I was there in Idaho. I went out there. I was back then in the movement back then. I was with Tom Metzger, all those guys back then. I remember in 1994 us meeting afterwards also. All right, so I've been around a long time. So, I'm an old man, but I was around. And I'll tell you, that's the disgusting part of this government and what they did to that man and his family. And Waco, too, what happened there. And I remember and then I joined the militia movement, and whatnot in the mid-'90s. So, it's what I'm trying to do is, like I said, is that what you just brought up there is it's an example of how ignorant we are, because we allow it to happen, because we allow our government to do that to us as a people, and we shouldn't. But yet we're pointing our fingers at the black people, the Jewish people. Well, you know what? Stand up then, and let's get rid of it. Knock it off. How do you do that? I mean, you talk about Hitler. Hitler did it, right?
Come to his senses.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you, like George Lincoln Rockwell said, that there's only 3 countries that ever whipped communism, and that's Spain, Italy, and Germany. And they did it by using an iron hand.
Yep, exactly.
I agree. But so let's be number 4.
These guys are literally telling. Look at that Sephardic Jew AOC. She's saying she wants Republicans or Trump supporters put in camps.
You know what? And check this out. She's from a tiny little district in New York, okay? Why does she have so much of a voice? Why are they clinging to her? Does anyone know her history? Does anyone know her background? Does anyone know who she came from or who she's associated with? Those are things that we should be looking into, but instead we're too busy, spouting off at the mouth, arguing about stupid crap, dividing ourselves, divide and conquer, because we're allowing the Jews and people like that, the puppet masters, to divide us. So therefore they're able to conquer us. I mean, I'm sure you guys heard all this stuff before, man. But but the thing of it is that that's what we're trying to do on this podcast show, is try to educate the people. And I wouldn't dare say enlighten. But
you know what? I called in yesterday to the NSM with Commander Colucci, and I apparently said something that's so controversial. It never got played on the playback. If you go back on the
I think I know why.
The archives.
I get it. And you got to understand something. Bert has a responsibility, just like me with this podcast show. And so when you call in, I know you have the liberty to say what you want, but you got to remember, we have a responsibility. They're going to come, to do a show here or a podcast to certain rules because you people have allowed these people to make the rules. Because you're the guys that listen. You're the ones that control it. So, therefore, we've allowed these people to make these rules, and they're shutting us down little by little. So, Bert, we're just trying to do things the right way. That's all. I don't think it was controversial what you said. It's just that maybe for sound quality, what happened. I was there. I listened to it. I heard it.
What I said was extremely controversial because I told the truth.
Well, is there any other way to tell the truth? Let me ask you a question. Brother to brother, let me ask you a question. Is there any other better way, educatedly, to say it better?
How could I put this? There's a reason that Asians have little dicks and blacks have big dicks.
Yeah, that's fine, but that's not. But dicks aren't going to win the war.
There's a biological reason in there, and
because Asians are small and black people are fucking tall.
No, I mean, because Asian women are more faithful and less promiscuous than black ones. Of course, I'm not going to hear this tomorrow. It's probably going to get cut off.
Oh, you'll hear it tomorrow. I guarantee you'll hear it tomomorrow. All right, but the thing of it is that's not.
Well, that's
controversial
what I said, and it's the truth. And I also told him, I told Colucci, I said, the reason there was segregation was because blacks were 90% of the syphilis population back then.
Yeah, but that's not a fact, Bill. That wasn't a fact.
Separate.
But that's not a fact. But you did. I remember you saying a lot of things that you said you're going to bring facts to the show, and I'm interested in that. I'm interested.
Oh,
I mean, if you want to bring some factoids, I'm glad. I want to hear that.
You called in, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And I was listening to what you had to say.
Because you asked about where my sources were.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes. Yes, sir.
Well, they're disappearing every day.
Okay.
My
you said the South
are disappearing all the time.
Yeah, but what's your? But can you give me your? Can you give me? You said you want to bring facts. I want to hear some facts. I want to hear the facts. I like that. I love facts, man. I love them.
Okay.
You know.
All right. You heard about Selma, Alabama?
Yes. What's the facts?
What's the facts? I'm gonna tell you what the facts are. The police were there. And, of course, it was a normal, peaceful protest, right?
Yes, sir. I'm listening.
Okay. And all the communist agitators, being Negroes, most of them, started throwing bricks and bottles at the police. The police retaliated, and all you ever saw was what the media put out there with dogs biting on the black folks. Okay.
So what's the moral purpose of what you're trying to say here? What's the fact that you're trying to bring that we all could understand here in a simplistic way that you know how to say it? Because I won't edit this out, I promise.
Selma, Alabama, everything you've been told about it is a lie.
Okay.
That Rosa Parks, no, that was a recreation. Complete recreation. She had nothing to do with that. She actually was a student of the Highlander Folk School, just like Martin Luther King and John Lewis, which he's dead and gone, thank goodness. They were students to be.
Okay. What about the Klan? I remember you brought up the Klan, too. You said something about the foundation, the truth about the foundation of the Klan. I want to hear that one.
That's right, the Klan.
Pagan religion.
You know why the Klan started?
Why?
Because after the so-called Civil War, which it wasn't a civil war because it was two nations fighting against each other, two sovereign nations.
I got that one. That was a good one. I like that one. It wasn't civil. I like that.
It wasn't.
Go ahead.
All right. After the war, I'm going to try to watch my language because I don't want to get cut off. The freed slaves, if you will, was raping, robbing, killing, and stealing at will, doing whatever they want to do, just kind of like what they do now. Nothing different. And the Union soldiers wouldn't do anything about it. Matter of fact, some of them participated in it. So they started the Ku Klux Klan, and they wore white robes to represent the ghost of the Confederacy. And blacks are very superstitious. They are. I don't care what you say. They are. And
what was it a victory though? Was it a victory? This idea to do that, was it a victory? Did it achieve its goals?
Yes, it did.
How? Because we're here we are in 2020, and the blacks you just said are doing the same thing.
Well, it did that temporarily at the time because the Klan, they were the vigilantes. They said, "The hell with this," because they went out and they started snatching up those Negroes that was raping, robbing, killing, and stealing, and they started lynching their asses, which was the way it was back then.
But 22% of the population was black in the South at that time, and matter of fact, a majority of the people that owned the slaves at that time period that you're talking about were in the North. So explain that. Why would that be? That wasn't the main focal point of the Civil War, was it? It was over what? The economy, the taxes, the bankers that put the tax on the cotton, correct? And then the Congress walked out. What was it? The 37th Congress that walked out? I could be wrong, but walked out and abandoned their seats. And then that's why we have this two separate constitution idea now with the Republic and the democracy idea. But anyway, the bankers from the North funded the war. The Rothschilds funded the war for the northern aggression. You always hear that term, the northern aggressors. They were the northern aggression on the South, right? So why were they aggressing on the South? To impose that tax and to destroy the economy of the South. To do what? Because so it wasn't over slavery. So why were the blacks so singled out there at the end? That was the Jews promoting it through what? Through the educational system, through the history that's false, the false narrative that the Civil War was all about slavery, right? Which it wasn't. But yet we keep talking about it like it was also. So what's like I said, the end game result is who won, who's winning now, and what can we do to change it?
Yeah, you're kind of right about that. I believe the catalyst was a fictional book called Uncle Tom's Cabin. I think that is what started the they didn't really start it because the North and the South had disagreements from the days of the U.S. Confederacy, in 1776.
You mean the Revolution? You mean the Revolution?
Right.
Yeah, the Revolution.
Well, they were Confederacy then. That's what they called themselves.
Well, the problem is they were talking, but it was all about the money at the time, the bartering system, and that's why one thing I do on my show, I focus on what? The Federal Reserve banking cartel, because we all have to have an honest bartering system. Yeah, the Rothschilds. Yeah, the Rothschilds, the Warburgs, the Carnegies, the J.P. Morgans of the world. Those people. Those Chase Manhattan, the banks, the big banks that own everything. They own us. They own our because they put us into what? Slavery. We're actually in slavery right now because we're into debt. We're in debt. Debt-based system.
The Secretary of War of the South was Judah P. Benjamin. He was also called Thomas Jefferson's pet Jew.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He was a Jew.
How could the Jews have so much influence back then, though? How could they have so much money over the money changers? Are they? Because they're the synagogue of Satan, right? And we know Satan's been here since the beginning, since the creation, right? Of earth, and he has dominion over the earth.
Yeah, that's the way yeah. Pretty much, I can't disagree with you on that.
So how do we stop it? So because we're arguing amongst ourselves about religion and what we believe.
Well, I tell you what.
Why would you want to stop the white race?
What's that?
Is that Mr. Johnson?
Oh, I was saying, why would you want to stop the white race?
Why would I want to stop the white race? Who said that? I didn't say that.
Oh,
I'm white and proud. I'm proud to be white.
I didn't realize you guys were on here, but hey, I'm gonna have to go here soon. But just one last thing that I wanted to say is that Mark Johnson guy is he still on here?
I'm sure he's listening, but I don't think he's on here right now. Hang on, let me check. I got a full board still, and I got some people that pressing one still. So I'll get to you, I promise. No, I don't think he's on here, but he's listening probably via the internet. But
okay.
I was
gonna say that. I think one of the best things for all those black people would be a eugenics program where they could kind of you get the better of them to be the ones that have the kid or two or whatever, and then, the thugs and criminals to be the ones that don't have kids. And over time, their race would
They're already
become
doing
better.
it, though. through abortion
What
and
was that?
whatnot, right? They're already doing
No,
it.
not
though.
abortion. No, not
But
abortion.
that's just a sample, I'm saying. So it's one agenda that they have. I mean, what I'm trying to say is this.
I don't care about that abortion shit. I'm
I know, but
talking
you see,
like
we're in no position right now to put that program out there because you know what you're going to do? You're going to chase off all the people sitting on the fence. We got to get them. How did Hitler do it? How did Hitler achieve his goals? He didn't come right out and say, "Let's kill the Jews," right? He didn't do that, did he? So
no,
how are you going to? Because right now we're the small number right there. We don't have any power right now. So how are we going to get these people?
He never did kill the Jews.
He didn't do it.
No, the Hitler and the Nazis were actually helping the Zionists.
Who?
I don't know about that.
They were. I'm serious. Hitler and the Nazis were trying to send the Zionist Jews back to Israel so that they could build their own nation.
There was no Israel. There was no Israel
yet. It's called the Havara Agreement.
Palestine.
They were just trying to get rid of them. It's called the Havara Agreement. I know what you're talking about.
You know.
Oh, enlighten me on your grandiose history.
Okay, so the Zionists wanted to remove the Jews from the land of Europe and return them back to their land of origin.
Yes.
Theodore Herzl,
I got you.
He was a Zionist that believed in working with noble anti-Semites to achieve the final solution to the Jewish question.
You are intelligent.
Okay, so therefore, hang on, let me, Adam, if I may. So therefore, you said their land of origin. So what's their land of origin? Because then you would have to agree with what the Bible says, right?
Thank you very much.
My land of origin is the land of Zion.
He's a Jew.
Okay.
Yes, I am a Jew, an honest Jew, and I know about the way that the Jews have become a race of parasites.
Yes.
What percentage
I
Jewish
realize
are you?
that the Jewish race is a race of parasites.
Yes.
But now what my goal is to get the Jews to be able to become a race that is not parasitic.
He is a Jew. He knows the truth.
So he's a Jew. All right, so you're Jewish. Okay.
Yeah,
right,
there's Jewish engineers, right? So, the Jews are basically a race of parasites. I hope that you guys understand that, right?
I thought Jews was more of like a culture, not a race of people. I mean,
no,
it's a race.
Jews
race. No, it's a race.
The Jews are a race.
Okay, all right. I was
They
just
are
asking.
a race of people.
Okay.
The Jews are part of the Semite race.
No,
the Semite race.
They are. But you know what?
The Middle Easterners. That is the Semite race.
All
right, so
now
what's your
Jewish race?
All right, you defined your plan there.
No,
how are you going about it?
Okay. Hold on, guys. I want to hear what the Jews got to say.
All right.
Oh,
really?
Okay. Give him the platform.
Is part of the Semite race. The Semite race is basically the Middle Easterners. Okay, the Jewish race has become a parasitic race.
We know that. You said that already. Okay.
Right. So my goal here is to try to get the Jews to be able to function as a race that is not parasitic.
And how are you going to do that?
The way this work is, there's plenty of Jewish engineers, chemical engineers, mechanical engineers, and the way that you would do this is you would get the Jews to realize that being parasitic is actually bad for them. Destroying the host race is bad for the Jewish race. So the Jews need to invest their money into the better interests of the white race. Entertain the ideas of a powerful white race. And then...
Are you really a Jew?
Yes, I am a Jew.
He said
I am a Jew.
I have no way of proving it or disproving it. I don't know. So you're
because
okay.
you don't sound like no damn Jew I've ever known.
That's the truth. I am a Jew, and I am a white supremacist.
You're a Semite. You can't look. White supremacy is a false word. All it means is Western Christian civilization.
Well, I asked what earlier. What is white supremacy?
Listen here,
that's a narrative that the Jews have born and bred into the people in the
that's
public today.
Not a narrative. The white race
is a narrative.
The highest and most superior of all of the races. The white race is the most technologically advanced. Is that something that you do not agree with?
Hold on, Jew boy. Hold on, Jew boy. What does the Talmud say about Jesus Christ and his mother?
I'm not talking about the Talmud. I'm talking about the Jewish race.
Oh, you don't want to talk about the Talmud.
So you're not a practicing Jew. You're not a practicing Jew. So any questions about Jewish practices, you're not going to be able to answer, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't believe in any of that stuff. I don't believe in that Talmud. I don't believe in that Mosaic religion. I believe in the Jewish race, not that Mosaic religion. So
see,
you've already
contradicted yourself.
We believe see, the Jews are a race.
All right, hang on. All right, just take a time out there. I got 647. I didn't see this number up here yet. I've been
hey guys, real quick. One last thing that I'm going to tell you. Remember this word.
Hey, moderator.
The white race is the highest
the Jew in here. I want to hear what you got to say.
All of the races. Remember those words.
All right, we will. We'll remember your words.
Highest
listen.
And most superior of all of the races.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your last comment there. All right, 647. Go ahead.
I'll see you around. 88. Hail Hitler.
Hey, Judaism is a religion. It's not a race.
That's correct.
A race,
That's what I said too.
Dumbass.
Well, it's not. It's
really
really not a race. It's a religion. And it's a culture.
It's not a race.
It is a race.
The Jews that can trace their lineage back to King Solomon are Ethiopian. So how can Judaism be a race?
Oh, get out of here with that black liberation bullshit.
No, it's not. It's not.
Wakanda ain't real, motherfucker.
Well, hang on. Let him offer. I mean, he's given a perspective here, so let's not shut him down. I mean, let's hear him out, before we attack him, and then everyone can, bring facts to him. Let's provide the facts. Let him provide facts. And you guys provide the facts.
No facts. They didn't have the written language or the will. They never invented the will.
Hey, partner, we gotta let the man present his facts, and then you can disprove.
These are facts that even these are facts that are even in your books. This is not black anything.
We wrote the book.
This is research that white people have done. That's not even up for debate. Like that, I don't even know. So I'm not gonna even. So you can have your own.
All right,
you can
You brought that argument to the table. That's fine. Now let me get to 863 here.
Now,
all right.
So now what I wanted to say was that.
Yeah, please.
The problems that you're trying to solve is going to be very difficult for you to solve, and because they can always play on your hate, and you'll always fall for it. So if we talk about, I don't know if you guys know about Leo Frank. So back in 1913, Leo Frank was a Jewish businessman in the South. I think it was Georgia. Leo Frank raped and murdered, I think it was a 13-year-old white girl.
What?
And what he did was he murdered her, and then he got one of the guys who was a black guy who was just kind of working and sweeping up in the factory that he owned. He got him to help him dispose of the body. Now, the police, when the police went to get Leo Frank, he tried to blame the black guy for the murder. The police came and got the black guy. I can't remember his name. The black guy, they got him down in the police station, and they interrogated him and kind of tortured him. But then they came out and said, "Look, we believe the black guy. He didn't do this. Leo Frank did this." So they had a trial with Leo Frank, and the black guy testified, and then Leo Frank was convicted of the murder, the rape and murder of this girl. And even before that rape and murder, a lot of the white people in the South didn't like how the Jewish people were moving.
She was 13 years
No,
old.
hang on. Let him finish his point, please. Can he finish his point?
Hold on.
We're yelling at him. Let's let him. I'll give him a couple minutes here. Let him take. He's a caller. Give him his respect. I mean, please. I'm asking, please.
So what happened was, the people didn't. The Jewish people had some money, and they put some money together, and somehow got him out, got him released, or he was going to be released on the charges. And so the white people in the town got upset. They went to the jail. They pulled him out of the jail, and they hung him.
And hung his ass because they paid off the judge.
But so here's what the Jewish people did, and here's what they did.
They established the ADL.
They said this is disturbing, and we can't have this. So one of the things that they did was they created what is now known as the ADL, Anti-Defamation League. They felt that because they knew that the white people were getting very upset with the Jews, so they created the Anti-Defamation League. And another thing that they did, this is the beginning of Hollywood kind of thing, they took the book, Birth of a Nation, and they funded a movie, the movie Birth of a Nation. Their goal was to take the heat off of the Jews and make the black man the boogeyman, right? So what they did was they made the movie Birth of a Nation, and then they had a scene in there, they had the same scene kind of like with Leo Frank, but this time they had the face of a black guy, right? They put on blackface.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They play that commercial over and over. But listen, but Hitler was able to figure all this out, right? Hitler was able to figure a lot of this out. That's why. Am I correct?
I'm going to bring it around to today.
Okay, all right.
So then what they did was they funded, they pushed, and they put more funding behind the KKK, which was already going at that time, and they caused such a fervor that the KKK and white people started attacking, killing, hanging, and burning and castrating black people, black men.
Wrong.
Based on all of this stuff that was going on. Hold on. So that's what happened.
I'm finished. It's his view. I mean, give him a viewpoint here.
No, this is what happened. Document. Like, go do your research.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying. I'm giving you the floor here. Go ahead.
So they were able to do that because they were able to play on the hate of the white people and switch them around and then blame black people.
Yeah, but what about the hate of the black people, though? You know what I'm saying? Because they're switching it in the narrative around now, though. Yeah, let's talk about today.
If you go to today,
wrong. 80%
what
of
happens,
lynchings
if you will notice,
cattle and horse theft.
Hang on. We can't talk over everybody. We can't do that because we can't hear anything then.
If you will notice,
everybody get their time.
Every time something came up, they wanted to blame black people. So whether it was Charles Manson, who, after he did the Tate murders, he said his goal was to blame black people for it, to get the race war started. Whether underground, they were going to blow up buildings in D.C., blame it on black people to get the race war started.
Correct, but they didn't achieve their goal, but they're achieving it today. Why?
If you look at what happened even during this past election, what did they say the day after the election? They said black people put Joe Biden over the top. Black people didn't vote. We didn't vote.
Well,
in large numbers, we didn't even vote.
In large numbers, that's not true because that's not true at all. Because a majority of the black people,
and I'm going to tell you, why. Here's the evidence. We didn't vote because when black people vote Democrat, they vote all the way down Democrat, top to bottom. What happened was all the down ballot races, Democrats had problems because there wasn't enough votes. And then, surprisingly, all the votes showed up for the presidency.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point because there was a lot of seats that got flipped to Republican. That's a good point.
Exactly. So how did the black people go in those booths and vote just president and then turn around and walk out? No, they vote down ballot. That's how we always vote. That's how most black people vote. So what I'm saying is they did it again. They said, oh, we know you're going to be upset because we stole the election from you, but look at those.
Well, I think it's more than that, caller. I think a lot of it has to do with the globalist agenda fixing the election because you go all the way back to the Nixon-Kennedy election where there was fraud.
Here's what I'm saying. They will always be able to get you guys because they will always be able to flip
Who's
you.
they? But who's they? That would be the devil, right? It would be the devil, right? It would be evil. It'd be evil to divide the people.
You can call them whatever they want. They own the media. They can always flip and then put anything that they do, including coronavirus, what they say. Oh, black people are getting it more than anybody else. They'll always be able to use your hate against you.
Listen, man, you made some great points. Hey, but listen, Fred, you made some great points, and that was well spoken. I agree with you. You're right on by some of it. But I believe the globalist agenda has a little bit more than to do with the races of the people. I believe it has to do with good and evil, fighting against each other. There's no room for darkness. There's no room for light in a room of darkness. There's no place for it. So, but 863, you can stay on the line if you want. I want to bring in 863. He's been waiting a long time, and then 601 is still there because I'm getting too many people talking over each other. 863, go ahead.
Hey, Joe, Bert Colucci. How you doing this evening?
Hey, I'm doing a crazy night trying to keep control of everything. But I got a mixture of people here.
Yeah.
I got the whole bunch of them on here. Everyone's disagreeing, but that's what the name of the game is, right? Try to bring some knowledge to the people.
I hear that. And if those are coming in from my platform and those are NSM people, I only heard one NSM member in there the entire time, and that was Corporal Bigfoot. I don't know who the rest of the people are in there, but if you guys are talking over whoever's on there, you guys know I don't put up with that shit on my show, and he shouldn't have to put up with it on this show. So if somebody's talking, shut your goddamn mouth, hear what they've got to say, make a legitimate argument.
Right.
I don't do interviews in international media that way, and you guys coming out here and acting like that isn't helping the case at all. So that being said, I know we were talking about religion, Joe. And I know, that's, like I said, this is your podcast. You're allowed to do it however you like. Just from the NSM perspective, though, we don't, anybody can be any religion they want to be as long as they're not Jewish. So that's the position of the organization. So we don't.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I
was getting a different perspective there. Like if you're a Baptist, no, you're done.
No, absolutely not. And these guys know that. I don't care if you're a Catholic, if you're a Methodist, if you're a Mormon, what faction of Christianity, if you're a heathen. I'm not here to talk about religion. We're not here to talk about religion. You guys can talk about that. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying as far as the organization standpoint goes, as long as you're not Jewish, we don't care what religion you are. And these are the things that rip white nationalist groups apart, as you can hear everybody trying to talk over each other. And this is exactly why we don't get into it. I don't care who you pray to. You can do whatever you want to do. As long as you stand up for your race and your nation, that's all I'm going to ask you to do.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I agree. What do you think about that last caller that called in? He gave a little. He's still on the call, and I've gotten a diverse crowd on here, and I've gotten a lot of black people that were listening. Had Mark Johnson on here, and he kind of got attacked there, and that's not right because he's bringing his viewpoint, but bring the facts, like you say, Bert. Bring facts, and that's what this last caller was doing. He was trying to spew facts. Is what he's saying true, or is there any way to disprove him on a factual, or do you agree with him?
I'm sorry, I may not have caught that. I've kind of been in and out. What was he was saying? Just give me a.
Okay, I didn't know. Are you still on the line there? He gave a very depictive history of how the Jew has played upon the hatred of the people, and that's how they get us to attack each other. Basically, that's what he was trying to say, I think. If I could be wrong, if he's still there, he could speak up.
Yeah,
well,
what I was saying.
The problem is.
Oh no, he's there, Bert. There he is. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was basically saying that, but you were asking, how you can solve your problem, which I don't really know what your problem is necessarily, but one thing I can say is that they are able to play upon the hate that you have for black people. They can always turn that around. They can always turn that, right? And so you'll take your eye off the ball, and then you'll go hating black people while they're taking over the whole world. And that's one of the reasons why.
You just said we didn't have a ball because you just said, what's the ball? What's our eye on? Our eye on is what? My eye is on restoring my republic from my country and stop letting it get destroyed by a bunch of socialist libtards that want to destroy the moral fabric of the land that I live in and what I saw my founders build And we can debate that all, say, oh, the black people built it. White people, listen, my founders built this country. I'm talking about George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. Those are my founders. I respect America. I love America, the land which I love. God bless the republic. That's what I stand for. That's what my eye is on. And I don't want these Jewish bankers here destroying my economy, control my dollar. That's what my eye is on. But I know you gave that perspective of what you thought of what they're trying to do is divide me, and you said my hate. I don't have any hate. I don't have any hate at all. I mean, that's quite clear. But if you listen to all my shows, I don't have any hate towards anyone. I have division for a reason of being separate for a reason because they're forcing us to come together for what reason? Because we can't get along. We're just different. We're not going to get along. It's just every time something happens in society or someone suffers, okay, through a crime, what have you. Look at the shootings. Every time there's a police shooting, what happens? Every time. It's always the white cop's fault, right? Why? Why is that? Look, man, that Floyd character, that guy was a criminal. What happened there? The guy was wrong. Every time it's resist authority, resist our laws, resist our system. Why? And I'm not saying that the blacks don't receive injustices or there's wrongs that happen to them. I'm not saying that. But what I'm trying to say is that they don't respect our way. Get out and fight for something. Where do you see the black community fighting for anything? They always want the free handouts. I want 40 acres and a mule. I want something for free. That's my problem with the black community. And I think Bert would agree with that.
I don't think 40 acres and a mule was offered because for free, just to give it away.
As an example. As an example of what was depicted.
I don't think that's what. I don't think that's what 40 acres and a mule was.
Well, look, I have 40 acres and a mule. Nobody deserves anything for free. But Bert, go ahead. You hear what this caller's having to say. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, Joe. Just to answer the question, he had mentioned hate, and to just kind of expound on that, hate out there, in my opinion, and I think most white, proud-to-be people out there would agree with what I'm about to say. Hate is any time you stand up for yourself or the white race. Hatred to me is something that a person holds inside of them, and it's like holding a ball of fire, and it's something you're never going to throw at somebody. That's not what I feel. I don't think that's what most white people feel. What most white people feel right now is absolute and utter disgust. We are sick of the bullshit. We are sick and tired of black people via the Jews coming in and saying, well, you've got to like black people or else. And same thing in reverse.
Jews don't say that.
Same thing in reverse. Yes, they absolutely do. They say that they absolutely do. They say you will get along, you will like it, or we will prosecute you for hate crimes.
This is why they've been able to get away with it so much. You know that the Jews don't want black people and white people to get along. That doesn't even make any sense. How would they be able to do what they do? How could there be a CNN if we all got along? How could there be an MSNBC if we all got along? That doesn't make any sense. We have to be at odds, even for them to make money. Like you gotta.
Can I ask a question here?
You didn't let him finish his point. You didn't let him finish his point. That's what they're forcing us to do, but that wasn't the end game result. I think Bert was trying to get at. Let him finish his point. Go ahead, sir.
Can I ask you a question here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why is it that 13% of the population is in 99% of the commercials, and they are always in the power of position? They're trying to tell me, a white man, how to get a home loan or a car loan or, why is that? It's called predictive programming. Okay? 13% of the population is telling me what to do and how to do it. There ain't no black people.
Well, you're talking about the Jewish people, right? They're actually 2.5% of the population, actually. So they're actually less than that.
Let's say we're less than one. It doesn't make a difference. In 2040, the Hispanics will be the majority in the country. And I think...
Yeah, you know what's going to happen to the black folks after that? You know what they call you?
They
call you Niñata.
But why would you worry?
Don't interrupt, please. Don't interrupt the caller, please. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I won't interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, not you, not you. I was talking about the other caller. He was talking over you. I can't have people talking over each other because I know you're trying to make a point. You know, I know everyone has a lot to say, but everyone will get a chance, man. Just don't talk over their points. Go ahead, sir.
No, that's what will be, in 2040, and Joe Biden just reiterated it. So, I think that's where your focus is going to be. So my only point was that they are able to always use that hate to deflect and deflect off of them. They've always been able to do it, and they've been very, very good at it. And I don't see that as any less effective today than it was in the day of Leo Frank.
It's going to stop being less effective.
Go ahead,
it's going to be less effective. Yeah. It's not going to be effective because of what's happening right now, and you're going to see it, and especially with the election of Biden, this is actually playing right into my hands, is what's happening by electing Biden. With Trump, everybody screamed racist. They said that he was going to turn this into a white nationalist nation. Well, essentially, if you believe the media, he's out and Biden's in. And they've got Kamala Harris as the vice president-elect. So what this is going to do is this is going to push socialism down the throats of all the white people who have been on the sideline. It's going to get them off the fence, and it's going to get them saying white nationalism is the way forward, and that is absolutely the way that's going to work. And it's going to work beautifully. And if you think it's not, then why are there so many problems with the police now? The police are getting sick of it. They're tired of being told, well, we have to protect black people, but every time we go out there and try to enforce the law, black people accuse us of being racist. And then BLM turns around and goes on TV and says, well, how come the police aren't protecting us?
Again,
you're screaming to defund them. You're screaming to defund them. You don't want them. What do you want? You want black people to just patrol black neighborhoods and just let everybody kill each other? Here's the problem that I have with that. This is my country. I don't care if black people shoot each other, but I'm not going to have white people stuck in the crossfire of black people acting like animals. And I'm not going to sit there and let these Jews make me feel guilty for being white. They've been pulling this shit for 4,000 years, and anybody thinks that because it's going on 2021 right now that this is a different story, they're nuts. A zebra doesn't change its stripes, and these Jews are not going to change one single bit. They're the masters of deception.
But there again, you're focusing on black people where there's not even a problem. You don't even you're even though they've taken over your monetary system, and you're still focusing on black people.
Well, it's your monetary system too. It's your monetary system too, and the black community is wanting the free money, right?
Let's in this conversation, and I'm respecting your show. This is your country, so that's why I'm saying your monetary system. You said this is your country.
Okay, so I get you. I understand now. Okay.
So if that's the premise, then they've taken over your monetary system. They've taken over your entertainment, the airwaves, and you're still focusing on, well, black people are doing this. They're doing that. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here like,
what does the black community want? What does the black community want? Speak. You're black. I had another Mark Johnson on here. He was a black man. He actually was running for president as the common man. What did the black community want? What do you want? What do you think you're going to achieve here with Joe Biden?
Well, listen. We didn't pick Joe Biden. Don't put that on us. White people picked Joe Biden. Who voted Joe Biden in? And who stole the election? We didn't steal that election.
The president. But what does the black community want, though, sir? What do you want? What will make the black community happy? What will make it happy?
Listen. You guys have been watching too much TV because you think that we go around thinking about you guys saying you guys doing this, that, and the other. You got to stop watching TV. That's number one. Number two, that's not what we want is what we want, and if we want it bad enough, we'll get it. That's not the issue at hand. The issue at hand is what is going on now. They're basically taking the country from you guys. And this is exactly what I talked about. This conversation is evidence of what I was saying earlier. And I'll just leave
well,
it
I say the same thing. The elite globalists are right, undermining the country, but there still is effect. You still have the black community out there, which look, whether we respect them or not, I respect black people. I mean, you can be proud and black. You can represent yourself. But I'm just saying, where do you see the black community? What do you want? You're here in America. You don't want to. You hate America. Most of the black community does. You know that in the cities they hate them. Listen, man, I've been around it. I know they don't respect the white man and its laws and it's the system. The man is coming. They don't respect us. They don't respect this system. They don't like America. If you don't like America, then what do you want?
You've been watching too much TV. The black people.
No, man. Hey, listen, I've been around.
And
that
want to stay in America are fine with America. Or else they would leave. Now, a lot of them.
As long as you got the free handouts, right? As long as we're taking care of those inner cities and we're paying for the welfare and the food stamps, right?
64% of black males are in the middle class. And that's black males. So I don't know what you're talking about.
75% of all blacks are on some kind of welfare. Yeah.
64% of black men are in the middle class.
Yeah, the ones that are in the middle class, though, but that's not. No. You're taking that. No, you're not taking that. You're not taking that stat from honest perspective. No, you're not. You're taking it from the ones that are out here in society, not the prison population, the ones on probation, the ones that are convicted of felony. You're not. You're not doing that right. I know what you're doing right now. That's not true. Those are not true numbers.
That is true. That is true numbers. Now, what I can say is.
Can I intervene for a moment?
Yeah, hang on 1 second, sir. Hang on. No, let's let the gentleman. What's your first name? Because I don't have to say sir. Because everyone's just talking to them.
JC.
All right, JC. Hang on 1 second. Let the gentleman here finish his point, and then I'll bring you on. Okay? Please.
And I want to hear what JC has to say, and so I'll let him talk. But I will just say that you gotta see. I just think that the main problem is with that you guys have is not with us.
We have.
You can't see
come on now. Don't interrupt him. Let him finish. Come on.
So go ahead, that's it. I want to hear what JC has.
All right, yeah. All right,
go
JC, go ahead, JC. All right, I know. What they meant by when you say you guys is that, when you say you people, that's a racist remark. See, that's brainwashing. But go ahead,
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. Look, if you're driving down the road and you see a 1987 Cutlass with tinted windows, big ass